Hi, I'm Tom from Cochrane Car Estate Agents. If this is the first video that you've seen from us, what we're trying to do is just give people good information, good data about their local housing market. Obviously, there's a lot of stuff in the press that talks about national housing market, but when it does come to properties and what's happening, it's very, very local. What's happening down south is going to be drastically different to what's happening in Sheffield. So we're looking at specifically the postcodes S10 and S11. I would largely say the same principles will be seen throughout Sheffield, but if you wanted to double check, by all means, any area, we cover all of Sheffield. If there's any questions you've got about your local area, I've got my contact details at the end. Please get in touch with me. Happy to answer any questions that anyone may have. So let's look into the data. Let's get to it. So here we're firstly looking at the properties that are for sale. So that's the current stock, the choice that buyers have got out there, new listings, new properties coming on the market, and then sales that have been agreed. For the first time since we've been doing these videos and for a hell of a long time, the number of properties coming on the market, new listings, is less than the sales agreed. So we've got 20 less properties on the market available to buyers. If you look at July, it's the other way around. That new listings are higher by 14 properties. So people might be thinking, "Oh, is the market turning? There's now going to be less choice." It's not what we said. I see this is just something that happens every year in the month of August. It's school holidays, so you've got less properties coming on the market because more people are away. But properties that are on the market are still selling for people before they go on holiday, after they come back on holiday. There's just a lot of families, especially, that kind of say, look, we are going to sell, but let's not do it through a busy month for us. We'll do it once the kids are back at school or at a later point in the year. So it's something that we see every year. Looking at the properties for sale, 501. If we kind of compare that to that 6-year average, it's still a drastically higher number. So it kind of sound like a broken record as always. Buyers have just still got a hell of a lot of choice in a lot of areas of Sheffield and in S10 and S11. So it is making sure that your property is marketed in the right way, priced in the right way, but it's still a case that buyers have got choice. The good news is that there are tons of buyers out there. The number of people wanting to buy a property is still very good. What they are restricted on is affordability. With mortgage rates where they are. So mortgage rates, again, there's still more positivity. They have come down from where they were at a similar time last year, but they are, for a generation. I'm 39, and I'd say since I've been old enough to and had money to buy a property, these are still highest interest rates that a generation has ever seen. My parents frequently remind me of double-digit interest rates. A guy that I went out to see today, I think his interest rate was 15% when he bought his property. Um, but for this generation and the people out there buying properties, these are the highest interest rates they've ever seen. So you can't just stick your property at any price. It's got to appear good value. As we look into the next set of data, we're looking at price changes, fall throughs, and withdrawals. It is probably a little bit of a similar story. So price changes have gone down from last month, but there's an argument again that for a lot of vendors, they're on holiday, so they're not looking at changing their price. So I think that figure is a little bit artificial. But the good thing is, what we are seeing is that withdrawals are actually lower than the 6-year average, despite there being more properties on the market than the 6-year average. So what we're seeing homeowners are doing is, instead of withdrawing their property because they're not getting the interest they want, they're amending the price. So it's just showing us that the people that are on the market, nearly all of them, most of them, are serious sellers. So we've got plenty of buyers out there. We've got plenty of sellers out there. If properties were priced correctly, we'd see far more sales agreed. So it is still a pricing issue. So it's kind of been something we've been talking about probably all year now. And there's probably no reason why that would change going on for the rest of the year, or as far as we can see going into next year as well. The positive news, whether this is kind of sort of reassuring, where we are saying buyers are out there, they are, is that according to Rightmove, we've seen a 19% increase in the number of buyers contacting estate agents compared to August 2023. So that backs that up. And we are on track for 10% more properties transactions compared to 2023. That's according to Zoopla. And then within Sheffield, Zupa do it on a city by city basis. The average house price is 173,000, which is a 1% increase. So the market is good. We're expecting nice steady growth for the rest of this year. Unless something happens next year, we're probably expecting to see the same in 2025 as well. But if you look at Rightmove have amended their forecast for the year, they were thinking it was actually prices were going to go down by 1%. Now they're saying that they're expecting to go up by 1% over 2024. Zoopla predicting increases of 2.5% over the year, and then Knight Frank one of the highest at 3% growth over 2024. So the overall thing is the market is good. The market is out there, price right. You'll find a buyer quickly. But if you don't price it right, it will struggle, and you may not find a buyer at all. To give people an idea at times, we've got some data for people. This is more so if you're thinking about when you want to move. It's then so you can work backwards to work out when you need to go on the market. We're seeing a few people that we're going out to at the moment. They're saying, "Oh, if I go on now, get in before Christmas." Unfortunately, I wish it was that quick. The average time to find a buyer, according to Rightmove, is 60 days. So 60 days, hell of a long time. For Cochrane Carr, this is where I do have to plug our business because we've got data to sing about. Our average is, even if we round it up, it's 29 days. So less than half of the national average. Now, Zoopla tell us that if you sell and you never need to reduce your asking price, you will sell in 28 days. So similar to our data. But if you have to reduce your asking price, you'll sell in 73 days as an average. So some are even longer than that. And 20% of properties are reducing their asking price by 5% or more. So 20% of properties are taking on average 73 days to find a buyer, which is just ridiculous. Compared to that 20% at Cochrane Carr, we're not perfect. But our average, we're reducing 17.78% of our properties, so it's lower than average. If we then look at the average time from sold subject to contract to completion, the national average is 154 days compared to according to Rightmove, as is significantly less at 118 days. Now, there are things where this could be out of your control. Say the house you've bought, they're trying to find somewhere and they're struggling. But once a chain is together, a complete chain is together, then a lot of it comes down to how good your estate agent is on progressing the sale, how good your solicitor is on keeping things moving forward. So it's a combination of how good your estate agent is and how good your solicitor is as well. Where the estate agent can improve things, it's taking the time to speak to buyers, especially probably first-time buyers that think all solicitors do the same job, is explaining that saving money on his solicitor is probably not the best thing to do because it will slow down the sale. Within a chain, you can only move as quickly as the slowest member of the chain. So what we find a lot of our job is educating buyers on using good solicitors, good surveyors, good mortgage advisors to make sure a transaction goes through smoothly and quickly. There is definitely things out there that just show that the longer a sale takes, the higher the likelihood is that it will fall through. Time kills all deal. It's kind of a saying that we have. But your overall time on average nationally is around 7 months. So if you were to sell now, you're going to be looking at moving around May next year, which is just daft. Whereas our average is around 5 months. So if you were to sell now, instead you're looking at February. So it is a case of just working out. We don't have any targets at Cochrane Carr, so we kind of say to clients, go on the market when's best for you, move when you want to move. We will guide you on seasonal variances in terms of you might want to give December a wide berth if you don't have to sell then and go on in November or January. But it's just for us to give you the information so you can work out when is the best time for you to sell and when you want to move as well. I've got my contact details are here. Any questions you've got, any information, anything you want us to cover in the next market update, give me a call, drop me a WhatsApp, send me an email, and more than happy to help. Thank you for your time.